Jake Paul and Mike Tyson finally got completely blacklisted from every future boxing event. And well, it's fair enough because they have done more harm to the integrity of boxing than any promoter ever could. And now, well, now they're paying for it in the harshest court of all, public opinion. Now let me tell you why it happened. You remember those training clips were conveniently leaked back then, where Mike looked like an absolute monster? Yeah, he even busted his coach's lip during sparring, for heaven's sake. But sadly, it was all for the public to believe that Mike is still in power, and obviously he was.
The fight was scripted. Everyone is talking about this on X, and the script was actually leaked on X a few days ago. Now this script has went viral. Let's see how accurate it was. The opening bell rings, Tyson is showing flashes of his old form, which actually happened. As soon as the bell went, Mike Tyson came out with that head movement pushing forward. Immediately he stalks forward with his signature bob and weave style.
Millions tuned in expecting a real fight, but instead they were served a scripted spectacle. Jake's antics weren't surprising. He's always treated boxing like a joke. But Mike, he was supposed to be the one to bring respect back to the sport. Instead, he joined Jake in tarnishing its legacy. Was it worth shattering the trust of fans and betraying the sport he claimed to love?
Mike Tyson was right, and I was wrong. You know, you guys know the whole story about Shark Week, and you know, if you don't, I begged him not to do the Roy Jones fight. You're too old. I love you. I don't want to see you take any more punishment. So I set him up on Shark Week. He got paid good money, and he's like, so he almost flipped out the last day and was ready to kill everybody on the boat because he had to jump in with all these sharks again in the middle of Florida. And he's like, asshole says that you know, he cares about me and everything else. I've been fighting since I was 12, and he throws me in the ocean with a bunch of sharks. He was right about that too. But he basically said, I told him, Mike, you're basically 60 years old, and he's like, you honestly think this kid's gonna do anything to me?
Mike, once a name synonymous with grit and honor, has let us down in ways we never thought possible. Mike wasn't just outmatched. He betrayed the very integrity of boxing. After building up the hype with leaked training clips that showed him as a powerhouse, he sold out. Jake, on the other hand, did what Jake always does, turning boxing into a cheap reality show. But this time, the stakes were higher, and his partner in crime, Lakisa Biden. Together, they orchestrated an event that will go down in history as a mockery of the sport.
Many are upset over the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, with some people claiming that it was rigged because many people bet a lot of money and they lost a lot of money. Allegedly, there's this script that got leaked showing how the fight was supposed to go down between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. This was actually covered by World Star Hip Hop. So let's read this alleged script and see how the fight was supposed to go down. So round one was supposed to go like this. The opening bell rings and Tyson, showing flashes of his old form, immediately stalks forward with his signature bob and weave style.
Reports suggest that Jake outright bribed Mike, ensuring that the fight would follow a pre-planned script to maximize views and profits. What did they achieve? Infamy. Now, both Jake and Mike have been blacklisted from major boxing organizations. Jake's career ended before it could even properly begin, while Mike tarnished his legacy for what? A few bucks?
Like I expected it to be. What is your assessment of Jake Paul, the boxer?
A very good fighter.
Do you think he deserves respect from the public?
Absolutely.
Hey, that was a good slap. I like that.
Let's be real. Jake was never a real boxer. From the start, he cherry-picked opponents to boost his image. His wins were against NBA players, retired MMA fighters, and others far removed from their prime. He avoided fighting boxers his age or skill level, knowing it would expose him. Fame, not the sport, was always his priority. But with this scripted fight, Jake overplayed his hand. He wanted the fame without the effort, the accolades without the risk. Now the boxing world has turned its back on it. Even his staunchest supporters can't defend him anymore. Jake's attempt to cement himself as a legitimate athlete is officially dead. While Jake's antics were expected, Mike's betrayal stings the most. This was a man who once symbolized hard work and resilience. But recent financial troubles seem to have pushed him into a corner. Desperation made him trade his legacy for a paycheck. We get it, times are tough, but selling out the sport and betraying millions of fans? That's unforgivable. Mike didn't just lose the fight, he lost the respect of those who admired him. He sold his legacy for a few bucks and in doing so destroyed everything he once stood for.
Mike Tyson, people would talk to. People are there's certain people that are just crazy, man.
Well, these people that think that he don't stand a chance against Jake Paul, they're like, this shouldn't even because he's too old. I was like, I think you're crazy.
Well, they're definitely uninformed.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: he is 57 years old. He will be 58 when they fight. He has had a long fighting career. He has been knocked out by massive men like Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield. You know, he's had a lot of blows. And he's also doing this very unique kind of training with electrical muscular stimulation.
At any point, did you start to take your foot off the gas just a little bit because you noticed he was tiring out?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a bit. You know, I wanted to give the fans a show.
The alleged blacklisting of these two isn't as official as it might sound. Boxing doesn't operate under a single governing body, so the term blacklist here refers to a collective resistance from promoters and venues. For Jake Paul, this means fewer opportunities to book big-name fights in prestigious venues. For Tyson, it's about certain doors quietly closing, doors that were once wide open for the sport's living legend. But let's not forget the elephant in the room, money. Both Jake Paul and Mike Tyson are massive revenue generators. Jake's fights have pulled in an estimated $75 million in pay-per-view revenue, while Tyson's exhibitions continue to rank among the top-selling events. It's hard to ignore numbers like these. Boxing, after all, is as much about business as it is about sport. So why would the industry push them away?
I don't know what pleasure you can take from beating an old Mike Tyson.
I believe he actually won the first 2 rounds. Jake Paul probably won the rest of them. Mike Tyson's legs were gone, man. They were gone. And I believe Ryan, I got to give Ryan credit on this one, man. Because Ryan from Sports Wars, he did say that there would be like a no knockout clause.
Ironically, both Jake and Tyson are huge moneymakers. Jake's fights have brought in over $75 million in pay-per-view revenue since his debut. Tyson's exhibition with Roy Jones Jr. was the highest-selling pay-per-view of 2020. They're not just fighters, they're brands. Yet the boxing establishment, ever concerned with its image, seems to value tradition over revenue when it comes to these two. The argument is that their presence undermines the sport's integrity, though some would say that ships sailed long ago given boxing's own history of corruption and controversy.